Welcome back to another episode of the One Up Podcast. Because we just can't stop doing specials. Just constantly. We had our Crystal special. We had our Valentine's Day special. We're doing a Black History Month special because, you know, why not? We care about communities. We care about bringing people together. We care about celebrating our differences. You have to acknowledge and celebrate your differences. It's important. People forget about that. They try to say they don't see colors. They don't care if you're brown, purple, black, yellow. You have to see and celebrate. That's the whole point of this. We're a big, colorful group of people. We've got...
You would...
What's that, Dale?
You could say our community is colorful, too.
It is. Very colorful community.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Especially rocking that purple and blue One Up Podcast color. With us, as always, we have the one, the only, DJ Doughy Fresh.
Hi, guys. Hi.
And we've got our perpetual man on the bottom, our foundation, holding it down. Got Pucho.
Or holding us up.
Holding us up, too. Yeah. Lifting
What's
us up.
What's that guy's name? That guy that's holding the world up?
Atlas.
Atlas, and Pucho is our Rock of Gibraltar. I was looking at that today. There's an airport right next to the Rock of Gibraltar. That's crazy.
Why were you looking at that today?
Well, yeah. And what's crazy about it?
Some people say that this podcast will never falter like the Rock of Gibraltar.
Damn.
Okay.
People have some faith in us. We've been getting some comments. We appreciate every single one. They're awesome. We've got some support. It's a little bit different than our Nas days when we got a lot of comments and there wasn't a lot of support there.
This guy hates hip hop. That's a damn.
I know, that was funny. Apparently, I hate hip hop. I hate hip hop.
What's up with all the 8s? This album is a comment. 9 at least. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to all the comments. Hate. It makes us better. Look at how we came with the Corday that nobody cared about. We just came harder with it. Some would say we should just not give a fuck and things will go very well.
Exactly.
That Corday was fun though. I liked the way that we broke that one down. That one was that was a lot of fun.
I feel like we winged the whole like Nas album. And we got a lot of views and all of that. And then we took the Corday album super seriously because of the criticism from the Nas album. That's what we got. Nothing. So, that's exactly just nothing.
So all I know.
The lesson here, folks, is never prepare for anything. That's a terrible lesson.
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes
only do Nas album reviews. The next Nas album, we're going to review that. So we're going to be first. Okay.
Our most popular audio podcast, the Nas album.
Yeah, it did some numbers, right?
Yeah. We
also
average about
Nas.
five plays on our audio, and Nas came in at a whopping 22. Okay,
ooh,
so
that's a big increase.
Relative numbers.
It's a big increase. You just look at straight pure like math.
Before that, it was what? Tidy Whities? We were chasing that tidy whitey. Oh, what type of algorithm is that to chase?
You were on that. You were like, we got to do more like the tidy whities. Like, how?
What is that even? What does that mean?
So we did an underwear episode. Let's do socks. Then next we could go to ties. And then it's like, where the fuck do you go from there?
Cock rings.
How did you guys learn how to tie a tie?
The YouTube, actually. My brother was the first one that tried to teach me how to tie a tie, and it never stuck. I was just in high school. I was just like, just tie it, just tie this thing on me, and I'm done. But yeah, YouTube.
A woman taught me how to tie my tie on YouTube. This white girl, this blonde white chick. She's not even wearing a dress shirt. She's just her, and she just ties a tie. Something about her explaining it. All the other videos, it wasn't clicking. The way she thought about making this video, perfect way. I'm like, all right, I could do this. Now I can type, I can do a half, a Windsor, double Windsor, whatever, Windsor knot.
I was going to ask how you tie your tie, because I think I do a half Windsor.
Everybody does a half
Windsor.
Windsor.
Yeah, that's the easiest one. That's the go-to one, right?
You do a double Windsor?
It's an easy one. Yeah, I don't know.
The half Windsor's the easiest.
Yeah, the half Windsor's
You're
the
doing
one you just
double
flip and flip and flip. Done.
Yeah.
So
Now, the double Windsor's the perfect triangle. Nobody makes that shit. You always make the lopsided triangle, you know?
that's why you all do the lazy one. Yeah. But it's still better than the clip-on.
Can't tell. Yeah. So the way I learned how to tie a tie is my dad has taught me how to tie a tie about 1,000 times, and I've just still never learned. Okay. So I have a bunch of ties that are there that he's pre-made for me. Okay.
No way.
And they're hanging. If I ever have to use them, you just squeeze my head back in there and then I tighten it and I'd be looking good. All right?
Oh my God.
This is a secret I have never shared with the world.
I'm going to send you the video. I guarantee this woman will have you tying a tie. It took me like a month or two of just keep on doing it.
Bucho only probably has maybe like 2 or 3 excuses a year to wear a tie in pre-COVID times, right? He's set for the rest of his life with those pre-tied ties.
I got like 6 of them just pre-tied hanging over there. Just waiting for the day I got to squeeze my bald head in there. My dad's been holding it down. I remember the first times I had to wear a tie regularly was for football practice. You know, they were like,
I remember that.
You got to dress formal for some stupid fucking reason, okay? And then, since the 10th grade, the ties have been holding me down. I still got ties from 10th grade tied, hanging in the closet.
That's impressive.
And they're good.
Friend of the podcast, Jesus, does not wear ties. He is a no-go tie guy.
Isn't he our fashion boy? Isn't he our Mr. Fashion in our little group too?
Mr. Dior. Dior down to his boxer briefs.
I feel like he would be the one most likely out of any of us to have an extensive tie collection.
Right? You would think.
He has an extensive sock collection.
Yes.
We'll bring him on for the Tidy Socks episode.
Tidy whitey socks.
Don't tell me about your week, man. How you been doing?
My week was actually surprisingly extra long and extra good. New York is doing something. Fuck that Groundhog. That dude was off this year, all right?
That Groundhog died.
One of them died, yeah. Died and yeah, so that was the sign that
the
something
guy who
was off.
Getting it right all those years, he's the one who died.
Yeah. Some could say that they silenced him because he was going to say that, summer was coming early or spring was coming early because it's been getting
Are you saying Big Winter took him out?
Big Winter. Yeah, Big Winter. They got to sell those jackets. They got to sell that salt for the roads. You know what I mean? It's Big Winter coming out. So it's been getting warm. It's been nice. People have been coming out. And when it gets this warm, you start to actually believe in God. You're like, yo, the world is just a beautiful place after you've been stuck in your house forever. You're just like, oh, this is everybody's happy, in a good mood. And then it's back to 30-degree weather. And we're like, all right, here we go. So that was nice. I met up with one of my old friends yesterday. And that was a small adventure because I almost got kicked out of my favorite bar. Like, they almost banned me. Let's just say, if Supreme was at the front door and I did what I did last night, I probably would be banned from the bar.
Is this a podcast story you can share? Because I'm so curious now.
Yeah, so my friend that came, also friend of the pod, Justin, he came down and he wanted to link up. It's been like almost 10 years since I seen him. So I was nervous to see him, and it was nice. I had a really good time. He, from Florida, did not have his vaccination card on him.
Oh no.
So I tried to get him in the bar with some sneaky shit. They came up with a plan, and I was like, here, just take my ID and take my phone and see if you can get in. And that dude, that security guy was like, it was hilarious. He looked at it and he's like, hold on, that's that other nigga. It's like, that's not even you. That's it. That's that other guy. And so then he saw me and he's like, you come here all the time. So I don't even know why you're trying to do something like this. He's like, I shouldn't even let you in anymore.
God damn.
So
Someone say you're untrustworthy.
yeah, so Justin
grown.
was like, he's like, if there's one thing my dad taught me was how to forge a document.
What the fuck?
It was the funniest shit in the world. He took a picture, forged, he put his name on it. We were telling him he had to redo it a couple times. And he's like, what about this? And I said it looked like a 5-year-old wrote that shit. And he's like, so he finally gets a good working, he's like, watch me do this. He's like, I'm about to show y'all the power of whiteness. He goes up to the door and the guy is like, did you just make this right now?
No
like,
fucking
nah.
way. You went to the
He's
same bar to try to get in.
He was like, no, he went by himself because I had zero confidence that shit was gonna work. I stayed at the stoop. So he went to the security guard. The security guard is like, yo, did you just make this right now? And he's like, no, I had to wake up my wife and she took a picture of it right now. Yo, thank God he didn't see the black man's finger in the picture. It was hilarious. And he called us over and we got in. I threw the security guard like $40. I'm like, my bad, dude. just like I just had to. They're my friends. So yeah, that was my week so far. It was good. After that we got severely drunk. It was good.
Sounds like you guys are severely drunk before the fucking festivities began.
Apparently, him and Jesus had several bottles of wine before they came over.
Several bottles?
Like 2 bottles of wine.
The inflection in your voice sounds like you don't believe the story.
That's what they told me when they got there, and they did look kind of saucy. Jesus couldn't even finish his beer. I had to finish it for him.
Had to.
Wow.
Like a great friend that I am.
I mean, if he didn't finish it, who would?
Exactly. And then we went to McDonald's, and that was a whole different story. We came back over here, woke my grandma and my mom up. It was
that's fun.
a great time. Pucho, how's your week?
It's all right. I've been riding the bike. The tenderoonies are much less tender. Okay. I purchased bike shorts, and they've made, in combination, I actually don't know what's the full, it's the bike shorts for sure though, but I got a new seat. The seat helps a lot because it's not as long, so it's not like, my junk can hang off the seat now.
It's not half on, half off.
Right. Well, it would have been able, except the bike shorts come all the way up, so it like cups your dick anyways. So now it's still just uncomfortable. I don't know how these bikers do it, but it's less uncomfortable than before. I tried the bike shorts 2 different ways. I did the boxers with the bike shorts over it, not the wave. And if you're doing this, you're a sucker MC.
I do it that way, but like
You're a sucker MC. You just got to raw dog the bike shorts for sure.
No.
I'm just letting you know. No. As a man who had tenderoonies, man, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you that as a New Yorker in the winter, you just have to put gear on. It's like,
no, but you could put gear over your shorts. You just got to wear the bike shorts.
Yeah, no, I don't have enough bike shorts to wear. Those bike shorts, you wouldn't want to touch those with a 10-foot pole after the end of it.
I was going to say, this sounds like you just need to buy some more bike shorts is what this sounds like.
Yeah, bike shorts are going to have major shit stains on them. It's not going to be a nice fucking
Install
story.
the bidet, man.
It's not going to be a nice story. Yeah. You need that layer to keep it clean. Sanitary.
I put my bike shorts on with confidence, okay? My asshole is fucking
impeccable,
clean as a whistle, okay? I don't deal with this.
And that shit is spongy. You don't want the shit particles to settle. You don't want that. Yeah.
I would not want doo-doo stains on them shorts. I'd be pissed. I'd be shit, actually.
Doughy, the bidet life will give you the confidence to sit bare ass naked right on your couch.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's a higher level of living.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had leather pressed against my asshole, so
It's an
I'm
experience.
saying you'd have the confidence to put a cloth couch direct to ass.
Cloth direct to the booty hole.
The bidet unlocks potential, okay?
There's a running theme on these episodes. I don't know if anyone's caught on yet. There's a TV flex. There's bidets. I guess that's our brand.
Yeah. I also got new glasses. I'm surprised you guys haven't noticed or commented on
Ooh, they do look nice.
them.
I should notice them. I look at your face for several hours every week doing these stupid thumbnails.
But yeah,
Very nice.
I'm really digging the look. So
Now looks good.
I like them.
Looks like
Yeah,
you got some of the
thank you.
anti-glare on them too.
yeah, it's ridiculous how much you could probably see the porn that I'm watching right now with my glasses. It's a lot. There's a lot of fistings. There's a lot. Okay, I need to tone it down. I need to relax. Let me stop. Mateo, how's your week, buddy?
My week's been busy, man. My work life is very hectic right now. I don't give specifics on my work life. I work in IT though. My counterpart is out with a baby, which is exciting. He just had his first son.
Awesome. Congratulations.
But that means that our tiny little IT team that was basically two people is now one person. So I've just been all over the place, dude. I spent 9 hours fixing one issue on Monday because we had this major outage. It's been nonstop. So in my very limited free time, I've been able to stick to my workout plan. I'm on week 5 now, so that's pretty exciting. And I've been playing the hell out of God of War. I've been playing so much God of War, and apparently I'm barely even in the game. Even barely like 10% into the game at this point. Somehow, I think I just get too distracted way too easy. And I've been probably not leveling myself up properly or leveling my gear up properly because I don't like the look of like the bulky armor. So I've just been wearing like that little like the straight up like nipples free armor that Kratos has.
Ooh.
I feel like that's what he wants. I feel like he likes having his flesh exposed. I don't think that he wants like the full on like the armor all over him. Doesn't look right.
I mean, in the first 3 games, he just had like a sash. Or he just wore like something, like a shoulder fucking thing. I don't know, but he was nippled out.
Yeah, my Kratos is still nippled out. He's full nipply. But yeah, it's been a pretty solid week. I am enjoying the hell out of the game. I don't know why I've put off playing this game for so long, but now I've got too many games. I picked up Cyberpunk because I watched Crystal's episode and she talked me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started playing Cyberpunk 2. It crashed my PlayStation.
Did it really?
Yeah. It's the PS4 version of the same fucking thing. I put my PlayStation in rest mode and I went to turn on my PlayStation and it was just like crashed.
Huh.
So that sucked. But I was enjoying the game. I played through the prologue and I think I did the first mission or 2. I'm like right at the point where you could start doing open world shit.
That's right.
Can I insert a topic before
Yes.
How do you guys feel about
I forgot to say in honor of the month, okay? We black people, we love kung fu, okay? And I've been like kung fu bitch playing the shit out of Sifu these last like 2 weeks. Great fucking game. I think last week I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to beat it. Because it's just too fucking hard. I beat the game. And I got the best ending. I kicked the game's ass. And I got all the trophies except for one. And I don't think I'm going to grind it out.
I had a tweet that I almost sent out this week that was basically just complaining about how you are able to beat games so quickly. And I just play one game for like several months at a time.
I usually play like 7 games at once. So then I'll be like, oh, I beat this game and I beat this game. I give the perception of like I'm running through these games quick. But really, I'm just... The one game I started like 7 weeks ago. And then I beat that. I don't know. So I just kind of keep swapping through my game.
Still impressive. Still impressive. I don't know the last time that I straight up beat a game. I'm honestly trying to think of like the last game that I fully beat, and I cannot think of which game that would have been.
It's gonna be God of War.
It's definitely gonna be God of War. God of War's got its hooks in me. Control is also on my list. I need to beat Control, and then I guess next up is Cyberpunk. I've got it downloaded, installed, and ready to go, and it's 0 playtime so far. I don't need another open world game to play while I'm playing God of War.
Yeah, I know that's my problem. I started Cyberpunk yesterday, and I was enjoying it, and then I remembered Horizon came out today, so I started playing that, and so I'm like, I can't play 2 open world games at once. So
that's a lot. That's a lot. And they said there's how many hours in that Horizon game?
I don't even know. The first game to do everything was like 50 something hours. So if it's the same, it's hefty. It's not like Skyrim or fucking Fallout levels of ridiculous, but it's still 50 something hours. That's a lot.
Oh, dude, we still got Dying Light 2 also.
I did buy Dying Light.
I've got Dying Light 2. I've heard Doughy picked up Dying Light 2.
Yeah, Tony got it too. Yeah, and we were deep cocking, right?
You know what the problem is though? There's like 500 hours or something in Dying Light 2, right? Isn't that what they said? To do everything in the game, it's something ridiculous and undoable, basically.
Yeah, I wonder how they measure that. Like, does it get all those ridiculous weapons and stuff? I don't know.
Does that mean that we have to put 500 hours into platinum it though? Because that's going to be I'm never getting that platinum. I'm not going to put 500 hours into that game.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, I wouldn't either. No way in hell.
I wanted to mention before you guys hijacked my statement.
Go for it.
How dare you, Mateo?
Nintendo did some real shiesty shit this week. Real grimy move by Nintendo. Like cool. They're going to close the store down. Okay. We can't expect them to keep a store open forever. I don't see why not. But let's say, yeah, that's the issue. The way that they deleted a section of their FAQs as simultaneously so that nobody could come back and hit them with their own shit, that's a real calculated move that they did, and it sucks.
What do you mean nobody could go back and hit them with the shit? I'm a little oblivious with.
Can you explain?
I'm not super familiar. I read the article in Kotaku, and that's about all the research I did into that.
So they had this section in their FAQs that talked about video game preservation and what their duty is to preserve their games. And they had this whole statement laid out. Oh, we're going to keep putting our games out. And now the shit says, we have no duties to preserve these games. Basically, it's like the placeholder that was in that area. It just says like, nah, we don't have to do anything. And it sucks, bro, because I just bought the 3DS like a year and a half ago. So now I'm going to have to like either learn how to hack it or put hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars into 3DS games.
I mean, 3DS games might be an even bigger collector item now. So like this could be the time to hop on and start picking those games up.
He's talking about buying them digitally.
Digital.
Yeah, you're crazy. Just hack the fucking console. A hack just came out. Like they announced that they're closing down the shops and they're like, perfect. We got a Wii U hack and we got a 3DS hack. Just
unfortunately, the Wii U also, man. Wii U's a great console. It sucks that, these consoles have to go bye-bye after a while. Same shit's gonna happen with the PS Vita, the PS3. And for me, that's a shame. It's a real fucking shame, and it's the reality of all this stuff that we're buying. It's like eventually we're not gonna be able to use it. I think that sucks.
Digital ownership is going to have to change soon. I think there's going to be some changes to digital ownership if this is the way of the future, which it is. I don't think physical copies are ever going to go away completely, but I think you're going to find less and less of your buddies that have that pretty little PlayStation collection up on their shelf. Because why would you do that when you could just save that shelf space and just be all digital, right?
Yeah, I was just reading an article the other day talking about how hardware sales are tanking. Like people buying physical discs and shit like that. It's just like the only things that are really keeping this stuff alive are like the little companies. I even forget which ones are popular, but they'll be like, oh, we'll make a physical Shovel Knight, even though like the Shovel Knight guys were probably not going to do it or something. But they'll like make deals with developers to basically make physical versions of their like indie games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying it's like a niche thing where people do want to own something physical. And I mean, I've done that too. Like I remember when the Witcher 3 DLCs came out,
mm-hmm.
there was like I could have just bought the DLC online, but there was like if you go and buy the physical version, it comes with a Gwent card deck. So the card game inside of the game, you could play it physically. And I was like, oh yeah, I want those fucking card decks.
That's pretty cool.
So I bought the DLCs physically to have the cards.
That's pretty cool though. I like that one. I like collector's items that are like unique like that though. Like the little statues and shit. I don't really care too much for. But you give me like a playable deck of Gwent cards, I'm all in. That sounds badass.
Yeah.
Well, we do actually have topics that are relevant to this special edition of the One Up podcast that we're doing. To kick us off on this first one though, we're gonna take it over to Doughy.
Yeah. We wanted to talk about cultural appropriation and what effect does it have on us as Americans? What kind of effects has it had on the world? And also just being aware, because if you would have asked me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, what cultural appropriation was, I don't think I would be able to tell you whether someone was culturally appropriating something or not. I think sometimes our innocence gets the best of us and we don't, really know if what we're doing is wrong. So I, real quick, wanted to bring up this Aquafina because it's the most recent use of cultural appropriation. A lot of people are mad at Aquafina because in her uprising to becoming a star, and a lot of the movies she was in, she was using a black scent. And what I could describe that to is using African American vernacular, and whether it be using curse words or not, speaking is something that everybody does. And I think in her defense, she was raised in New York, in Queens, and she was raised as, first generation, second generation, coming from, where her family is from. And I think that has a lot to do with why she speaks the way she does. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. I don't know. I think that's what we're here to discuss.
That would be my point with that one in particular. Like, because I know that I had heard that she's from New York. I didn't know specifically where she was from, but like, how many people in New York use the AAVE that are not black, right? Like it's a lot. Like it's like almost like the unofficial second language of the city or something, right?
You remember how New Yorkers, the stereotype of a New Yorker was like, forget about it. It was very Italian. It was very, it didn't have roots in African American vernacular at all. But now, if you ask somebody what a New Yorker is, I think the first thing they're gonna be like is "Ayo, son." I think those may be two words that they'll use.
Does the your, does that count as is that AAVE or where does your fall into this?
Your is crazy. It's an evolution in a word, because your was in the beginning did not have good context. If somebody was yelling your at you, it was basically like you're gonna get fucked up. Like
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah, it did not start with humble beginnings, and then like New York took it and just did what it does with words, and then it was used to get attention, like just to get someone's attention or stuff like that. But yeah, it didn't start out with humble beginnings, but that is real a staple in New York now. You know what I mean? You hear that, you know, pretty much whoever is saying it is from New York. But with the way, and it's weird because as a New Yorker, I feel like people culturally appropriate New York slang and shit. I think people take it and people down south start using it. And I'm like, hold on. Y'all not creative enough to make your own slang up. Y'all have to take all our words and use them and facts and real facts and cool. But it doesn't matter. I feel stupid for feeling that way also. I feel kind of dumb for even caring if somebody's going to use the words that I use.
I mean, I get it, dude, because like you can tell a native Texan from a non-native Texan depending on how they y'all. There's a way to do it, and you can spot the non-native Texans coming in that are just like, oh, I'm in Texas now. I'm gonna give them my best y'all, and it's like, nah.
Let me hear one, Mateo.
How y'all doing?
Nice. That's nice. They do say y'all in Florida though, but maybe differently. But we definitely got a y'all down there, but maybe it's like verbiage is different.
I be saying y'all.
I've never had a problem with the way you say y'all. Your sounds you know, I don't know if it's even necessarily a way that people say it, or if it's just that the way that people the like if it's anything in the tone or anything. It's just the lack of confidence when saying it when it's not your native word. It just comes through. It's so obvious.
Oh man, that's funny.
It's like Michael Bloomberg when he tries to speak Spanish. It's like, obviously this white man has not ever spoken Spanish in his life.
Dude.
My favorite is Cory Booker talking Spanish.
Yeah,
he just sounds good. So fucking angry and aggressive.
Dude,
but he knew how to. He's surprisingly fluent.
I didn't notice it until my most recent watch through Breaking Bad. But that actor that plays Gus Fring, his fucking Spanish is terrible. It's so like proper, and it just doesn't. I don't know. There's just something wrong with it.
He's Italian. He's not even Spanish. So
yep.
Yeah, that's another tangential kind of thing, but it's like basically people playing certain roles that aren't representative of the role that they're playing. And he has a very, very like Latin sounding name. His name is Giancarlo.
Yeah, Giancarlo.
Like I know plenty of Dominicans with that name. So it's like, you know, you see a name like that and you'll think, right? But nah. I remember he played a Dominican drug dealer in Fresh. I loved Fresh back in the day. Good movie. But yeah,
amazing
he's not
movie.
Dominican. He's not Mexican. And he's probably done other roles that I can't think of right now. But he's like the Latin fucking dude in the Far Cry game. That was the most recent one that got people pissed off.
Yeah, people were very angry about that. What is your take, Butch? Do you think that I know you have some opinions. Do you think that cultural appropriation actually exists? Or do you think that it's just I don't know, that we're a big melting pot and these are the kinds of things that happen?
Both. I mean, I think it happens because we're a big melting pot. Like even the way that Doughy says, yo, can't y'all down south come up with your own slang? But right before he said that, he's saying how the New Yorkers appropriated your. I think because New York is the biggest melting pot of it's the melting pot inside of the melting pot of this country.
Absolutely.
I think there might be the biggest cultural appropriators. Like everything from all cultures around the world, they're jacking it and you know they put their own little flavor on it. I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think it happens.
When does it?
Whether it's a bad thing is the part where I'm like, I don't know.
That's the question that I'm curious about. When does because we all know it happens, right? I think we all agree that it exists, and I think that we all think that there are examples of it not being necessarily a bad thing, but when does it cross over? When does it become a bad thing to culturally appropriate? Because I don't know if I can explain it, but I can tell you when I see it. A white dude putting on the sombrero and the mustache and the fucking poncho on Cinco de Mayo and going around drinking Mexican beer and telling all the bartenders gracias or whatever. That's cultural appropriation. I don't fucking like it. It's fucking gross.
Gracias.
Yeah, Michael Bloomberg should not be able to speak Spanish on fucking Cinco de Mayo.
Like that's bad, but that's like an extreme bad. Like where is the actual line at, you know?
Yeah. That's also interesting because I feel like, as I'm not Mexican, so maybe I have no right to even make these types of claims. But from the Mexican people I know, a lot of them don't even view Cinco de Mayo like this big fucking holiday. So it's like, it's almost like more American than anything else at this point. And it's like, is it anything bad that all these white people are dressing up in sombreros and mustaches? And like, there's a part of it that is definitely, I don't know. I feel like when people do things like that, it leaves like a bad taste in your mouth, and it feels weird because it's like you're not even appropriating right. Like you're a caricature of the thing you're trying to appropriate, and I think that's where it gets really fucked up. Like, it feels very uncomfortable. It feels like you don't even deserve to be able to do the thing that you're doing because you don't even understand or know or anything like that. On the flip side, I think it's a positive thing because I think, like, I don't know. I feel like the more white people that go out there, and not just white people, just people in general that go out there and they celebrate Cinco de Mayo and they're vibing with all the Mexicans and they're trying to hang out with them, drink their food, drink their beers, eat their food, all that stuff. I think it kind of normalizes like Mexican immigrants, and maybe that's a positive avenue towards like having less hateful relations with immigrants in general and having less hate to people trying to come into this country and things like that. I think maybe that's wishful thinking, but I don't know. I feel like the alternative is no one tries to engage with your culture and they never gain any kind of understanding into like that aspect of somebody's life.
Well, I mean, that's the trick, right? Like, where is the line between like celebrating and appropriating? Like, where does that line actually exist? Because I've gone to celebrations from other cultures, and I've been I was at a Russian bar, right? I was at there's this Russian bar here in Austin. It's not quite the same thing, but they were having some kind of like special like Russian holiday. I forget which holiday it was. And I was there with some buddies that were like they have Russian roots, right? And we were drinking vodka because it's a Russian bar, so they just have all this. They just have this wall of different flavored vodkas, and it's wild. They have like blue cheese vodka and garlic pepper vodka, and some of the ones that sounded like they would be awful were actually some of the best ones. And we're there, and they're like, oh, they're like, by the way, they're like, they've got a full wardrobe over here. They're like, we're gonna hook you up in like Russian garb. So I was there drinking vodka all night in like this like Russian like soldier jacket with like the hat on, and it was fucking great. And they were telling me stories about like Russia and like, and I was like, this is cool. And I felt like I was celebrating. I didn't feel like I was appropriating. But if someone had just taken a picture of me in that moment, it looks like a Mexican dude in fucking Russian costume just appropriating the culture, right? So where's that line though? Because it's so hard to actually say in words where that line would be.
So for me, living down south, you had this phenomena of like almost a Malibu's Most Wanted kind of deal where these very well-off people would do all the most ghetto shit to be cool. And it's like, dude, you got your mom and dad around, and like everybody's there for you, nigga. Like everybody, like even the teacher says you're gonna be somebody. You can't even say that the teacher didn't want you. So it's like, you know, even for me, I've been friends with these people on on some people are authentic and some people are doing it just to be cool, and then some people shed that former image of themselves. And I'm who's to say who's authentic or not, but I think that type of use is a little egregious sometimes. I can't say that now anymore because I feel like the way that hip hop and African American culture and the way that I don't know how things work outside of America. I don't know if other countries celebrate other people's nationalities and stuff like that. I'm not sure how it works in other places, but this is what we do in America. And I think for the most part, it's in good spirit. I don't think just because we have a Black History Month that means that we're all culturally appropriating the month because we're speaking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I think there are good and bad ways, but I don't know if they're harmful. You know what I mean? Even those people that I spoke about that were very well off, they married a Black woman and you marry Black males, and it's just so like it seems like for the most part it did good.
It was genuine. It wasn't them just putting on an act or trying to wear a costume or something.
They really loved what they learned about the culture and I've always said, if an Indian woman comes my way, and she's gonna bag me. She's gonna bag me because it's gonna happen. I have a little Indian children. I'm gonna culturally appropriate the Indian culture, and I'm gonna get Indian children. I'm gonna be strong people. So minty cocks.
One thing that I thought was weird, in particular with the Aquafina situation, was like you said, she's from New York. You said she's from Queens. A lot of people point out, oh, she's from Forest Hills, and is
that like ritzy?
Not really. It's a working class neighborhood.
Yeah.
So like most
just working class people.
But it borders really rough neighborhoods in Brooklyn. So like you can walk from there and half a mile away, you'll be in a rough area.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in general, Forest Hills is one of the better neighborhoods that you'll find in like,
for sure,
in Queens or whatever. It's not the best, but like it's
safer.
It's a place you'd probably rather want to live. And then people point out it's only 5% Black, so there's no reason that she should be speaking with the Black accent. Is like a thing that people say, which I find kind of odd, only because like to Doughy's point, all these people live close to one another. These people, everybody goes to school with each other, especially in New York. Like, I don't know, like you could grow up in like Washington Heights, let's say, predominantly like Dominican. There's Black people, a lot of Puerto Ricans, and it's like they all talk with what people would call a Black accent. Not to say a lot of those people are Black themselves, but they're not African American, right? Which is what people mean when they say a Black accent. Mm-hmm. Some people go so far as to say that like a Black English immigrant or Jamaicans shouldn't speak a certain way, even though they got Black skin, right?
I remembered you mentioning that. I was just talking about that with someone the other day. I was like, there's some distinctions that I've heard even within like just sub communities of Black people. It's interesting. It's things you don't think about, but it should be obvious though, because I know there's that level breakdown with like, Latinx people. Like it's crazy, like the distinctions there.
Or like what you mentioned before we started the pod. You said, can you culturally appropriate a white people?
Yeah.
And my knee-jerk reaction was, nah, because they're the dominant like race. So their culture is just the culture we all already live under. But then you were like, I'm not gonna wear a kilt, and I was like, huh. I didn't even think about different like there are
The subcultures,
white people. There's subcultures from different places, and then I'm like, yeah, you could totally fucking culturally appropriate.
Yeah,
right?
dude, exactly. Like, I'm not dressed up like a fucking leprechaun on St. Patty's Day. I'm not going around talking in an Irish accent. You know why? Because I feel like it'd be offensive. I'd feel like that's an offensive thing to do. It's me using someone else as a caricature.
Can I say that the Irish accent kind of hot?
Dude, the Irish accent is cool as hell. It's one of my favorite accents.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Doughy only thinks in what gets his cock hard, apparently.
No, but I just like it
as
as
your last comment was an Indian's gonna bag me. Quiet for 5 minutes. The Irish accent is actually pretty hot.
hot and ready.
But yeah, I think that the speed or really the eagerness to want to label people like, oh, this person's a piece of shit because they speak with a black accent. I don't know. I just find this so weird.
It kind of comes down to that hip hop conversation we had about like how people always want like authenticity in punk rock and hip hop. People care so much about authenticity. It's like, oh, their music's all right, but are they living out of the van? Because if they're not living out of van, they're not actually fucking punk rock, right?
Did they struggle? How much did they struggle? Did they struggle enough?
And we've done the same thing. We were analyzing Chet Hanks. Like, is Chet Hanks cultural appropriating, or is it he just loved the culture and wants to celebrate it? I can't answer that question. I don't have any insight into Chet Hanks' shallow, empty head weird. Or his heart.
That was weird. That's different from like just being. You know what I mean? That was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna just hit a whole fucking Jamaican accent on this bitch for no fucking reason, unprompted.
Do y'all remember?
I'm gonna be honest. It was very authentic.
Do y'all remember?
Very weird.
Do y'all remember when Madonna just straight up had a British accent for no reason back in like the 90s? I don't know if y'all remember that or not. My mom was a huge Madonna fan, so I remember it just being like she would watch interviews and like I remember one year she just talked normally, and then the next year British accent, no fucking reason, no explanation ever given.
It's like Nicki Minaj saying she has a small British child living inside of her that comes out.
What?
Yeah, Roman, some weird shit like that. I was like, she's tripping.
You get a certain amount of money and you just go a little crazy, man.
Look at you. This girl. We're gonna get the Beehive against us, but the amazing, talented Beyonce also says that she has what is called Sasha Fierce inside of her and comes out only during her performances.
I kind of understand that though, because I mean, like, we turn it up a little bit for our little 200-person podcast, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine performing for 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people, 1 million people on a live like? Yeah, I actually understand that statement completely. Like, she's got a performer soul.
I feel like Kanye West became his alter ego and just like never got out of it. Like he got stuck in some mode and he's never flipped the switch.
Man, maybe there was some tragic accident we missed. He's tripped on a banana peel backstage like Mario Kart, bonked his head. Old Kanye's gone. Now yay. Only yay.
Oh shit. Could you imagine? Like some accident befalls him and then he like clicks back and then he's all like eloquent. He's speaking in ways that people actually understand. Like you could follow all of his sentences. You go, okay, he's actually trying to make a real legitimate point here instead of just rambling like a fucking, I don't know what the fuck. But
you know how you can tell a man's not a genius? When he has to tell you he's a genius every single conversation he has.
Yeah, that's what they say. You tell if the king is telling you that he's the king, so you got to listen to him. He's not a real king.
No power. Yeah. So to get back on track, any closing like thoughts on this? Because I think that it's tricky. Like I think that's what really all it comes down to. because it's hard to tell how someone is celebrating. Like, are they celebrating or are they making fun? I think that's like the real distinction for, in my mind at least.
I mean, and even beyond that, are they just living? Like, is Bad Babby culturally appropriating? What's her name? Bad Baby, whatever.
Baby,
the fuck her name?
yeah.
Oh, whatever. Is
I
she?
mean, a lot of people say she is.
But is it like Whoa Vicky appropriating?
But that's what I meant by like the kids that I knew when I grew up in school. She's actually very close to the high school I went to. She's from Boynton. I grew up with women like her in school. I grew up with Haitian friends like Kodak Black. It's weird to say that, right? But these mannerisms, the way these people carry themselves, is almost like a replication of the people that I've known from Florida. So who's to say they're not being their true selves?
Right.
Yeah.
And then like the fact that we're all capable of code switching to an extent.
Yeah.
Same.
Like, it's like, who knows these people that speak a certain way and then they land a different gig or get a different role and they talk a whole different way. And then people go, you see, they've been faking it their whole career. And it's also like, bitch, I go to fucking work. I don't talk like this. Like, I make sure I come like in the way that people expect people to come, or else my ass is going to get looks, comments. They're probably going to say, I've already been told I need to smile more. Okay.
I hate
the
that.
Angry black man in the office is me, apparently. So,
Don't,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't
So,
like
like,
that.
I don't absolutely. But I'm saying like I've gotten those remarks. So, and what's interesting, the person who's told me the most is the nice black lady in the office, which who knows?
Aww.
Maybe she's telling me like I need to do more. Like, you know what I'm saying? I need to switch a little harder,
You need
right?
you need to be the change.
Yo,
right?
facts.
I don't know.
No, dead ass. She might be trying to give you the alley, like, yo, you turn
Right.
it up
So-
for these niggas.
Right. So you never know. Like you never know anybody's situation. I'll
think-
say this. As a kid who grew up in the hood, we loved kung fu like a motherfucker. And none of us from China. I don't even know if kung fu's from China. But all them Chinese movies, we wanted to be Bruce Lee growing up. All right.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. And we ain't from fucking China. And should people come up on us when I was fucking throwing mad kicks and I was wearing my fucking baseball pants, my jet black baseball pants, because it made me feel like Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon? Like, should someone come to me and say I'm a piece of shit for culturally appropriating Chinese culture? It's like, fuck you. Like, I'm just trying to enjoy my day. Okay. Like, I don't know.
Is American Chinese food just culturally appropriating actual Chinese food?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Half and half.
my boss, he says that it is. He is an Asian man. He's I believe he's Chinese and Vietnamese. He says that American Chinese food is definitely 100% not real Chinese food, but he fucking loves it. He calls it junk Chinese food, and he fucking loves it. He thinks it's just like this extra American spin on Chinese food, and it's great.
When I meet General So,
but did someone appropriate it? I guess is the question. Like, is this Chinese people cooking the food that Americans would want to eat? Or is this American people that had some experience with Chinese cuisine and they're trying to recreate it, but they've just created this monster? Like,
Don't know.
I think Chinese people knew what was palatable to Americans, and they just designed a menu based on what we like here.
So
French fries with chicken chunks, yo.
Oh, yo,
Truth.
nobody can eat. Okay, so after school in New York, it's a thing. You go to the Chinese spot, you get the 50 cent or like $1.50, something like that, fries, and then they soak it with ketchup, and then they shake it up, and then you just eat it after school. That was like everybody went and did that. There'd be like a line out the Chinese people. It was a good delicacy. It's a delicacy for children.
I hate potatoes smothered in ketchup. I hate the smell of ketchup. Like when it's like when it covers food so much.
Is it the vinegar that hits you?
I don't know what it is. It just it makes my stomach turn.
Yo, he was covering those potatoes in ketchup in The Martian.
Oh, I mean, you had to.
Oh, he had to.
I mean, also Vicodin, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck not?
So I guess to sum things up, we all definitely believe that cultural appropriation exists, but figuring out when it's bad, when it crosses the line, I mean, it's just a feeling thing. I don't know. I know that there's definitely times it gets bad, but who knows? I think that it's up to the individual to decide. But I will tell you, here's my take. Don't wear another culture's costume. They're like ancestral, they're cultural clothes, unless someone from that culture tells you to wear it as part of a thing. I think that's a good general rule.
I would say don't wear it. Just don't. In today's age, you're gonna get screwed. It's gonna be like the Colin Kaepernick situation, right? Where what the fuck he did? He sat down for the national anthem, and then the military people got mad at him. So then he consulted with some military leader, and the guy was like, "The honorable and respectful thing to do is kneel." So then he knelt during the national anthem, and apparently he's disrespecting everybody in the army. So it's just like someone's gonna take offense to this, regardless. You might have a friend who says, "Nah, you could do or say whatever the fuck you want," and then you do it, and then a whole gang of other people are gonna take offense to it.
See, I was thinking like you're invited to like an Indian wedding, right? So your friend is like, "Oh yeah, we would love you to wear our ancestral, our normal garb that we wear for this kind of cultural event." I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But they will probably
White people beware.
They will probably still be
trying to set you up for cancel.
There will probably still be some people that are going to be offended, but I think that you can offend anyone with just about anything if you look hard enough.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you. I would fucking wear. I want them to lift me up in a chair at one of these parties. I'm a big fat man. All right, the amount of times I've been lifted ever, very low. Okay. If a whole gang of people lifted me at a party, that sounds lit. Is this a Jewish thing where you sit on the chairs at Indian?
Yeah,
I believe it's a Jewish thing.
But then in the Indian parties, they lift you too. Maybe you're just like laid out like that, and they're just throwing you in the air. That sounds fucking lit. Like you're on a human trampoline. That's just crazy.
I definitely need to go to more weddings from other cultures because I think that would be awesome to experience.
Yeah, I need to consult a rabbi for religious reasons.
I don't know what that means.
I think he wants circumcision.
Converting.
What's happening?
It's a conversion that's going to happen.
Hey, Pucho, why don't you let those people know what they got to do if they made it this far?
All right. If you made it this far, that means you're loyal. But you need to do more, okay? Hit the like. Subscribe. Ring-a-ling the motherfucking ding-a-ling so you know when we posting this shit. All right? And we're all over the place. We're on Spotify. We're on not Pandora. I was just about to say that. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Amazon. Whatever the fuck they got. The music shit. Apple Podcasts, obviously, which is like the fucking biggest podcasting service that we're not going to mention.
We're on Good Pods.
We're on Good Pods. Just cool. We're on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. We got a Discord. All right? We got to share the link out. So, you know, we're going to start some additional channels, some extra chats, all that shit. Yeah, I could come on here, post. We try to build a community out here. So thank you for listening so far. We still got some more shit to go. You know, give it back to Matteo.
Good shit, dude. Cool. So we are going a little bit heavier here, I think. I think this might be our heavy topic of our trio. But I think that it's a worthwhile conversation. I mean, I'm from the South. Y'all are from the South originally. Doughy's, you know, East Coast boy, Florida boy, hybrid thing that he's got going on. There's a lot of people you meet in the South that have some, let's say, old school values and opinions. And sometimes, even though they're friends with you, a minority, they say some shit. They say some wild stuff that makes you wonder, is this man racist or not? So the question is,
some people still fly the rebel flag.
Yeah, there's a lot of that Confederate flag down here. Those dudes believe the South is going to rise again, I guess. So the question is, can you be friends with those people? Like, is that something that you personally think is doable? Can you be friends with a racist or a possible racist or whatever terminology you would like to use?
You want to go first, though?
No. Wrap the show up, guys. This topic's over.
Fuck us out of here.
Next top, no.
Get us the fuck out of here. I think, man, because I have worked with some very obviously racist people, and I've tolerated them because it's a place of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've had some people use some real fucked up verbiage around me. Mostly towards immigrants and gay people. So heard a lot of the F word and stuff like that. And even when I didn't have any gay friends, it still kind of made me feel a certain way when people said that word. And I was like, Like I always felt it as an insult. I was like, okay, this is clearly not in a good way. So it always struck me when people are being overtly racist and when they use verbiage like those, about those people. You know the way they are, right? Like they'll say things like that and it'll be like, damn.
Yeah, it's that shit. It's that shit people say at work that is not quite racist enough to be like HR, but it's like, I don't want to bring this man around for dinner.
Yeah. So
I would never contact HR. I have a fear of authority, okay? I feel like if I contact the cops for something, that it's gonna rope me into a problem somehow. I'm gonna get fucked somehow, and I just don't want to deal.
I have multiple written incidents from my time in a much more corporate company here in Austin that say that I have a problem with authority. Not even a fear of authority, a problem with authority.
No, I got a problem with authority. So I'm with you.
There was a tweet that I replied to earlier where someone was talking about the word belligerent. I was like, you know what? Nothing makes me more belligerent than being called belligerent.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy at my job that was like, he was just like, yeah, when I was in high school, I was one of those white guys who used to think they were black. I like to listen to the rap music. I wear the baggy pants. And I was like, dude, you're talking to the wrong one. Find another. I ain't that dude for this conversation. I ain't entertaining this. Like, you talking crazy, right? Like, and then I had another guy that just started bringing up like some shit that was happening in the Middle East. And then he referred to some I don't remember what it was, but some people were getting killed in the Middle East by something, and he referred to the people there as like towel heads, right? I wouldn't never call no, and I'm just like, all right, I'm not talking to this guy no more. So like even at work, right, a place where I've had to be cordial with people that I would never talk to in my daily life, like even at work, I'm like, all right, I'm cutting these people off as much as I can. Like maybe there's an email that I gotta send or respond to, or maybe there's a conversation that gotta be had. But like I ain't fucking with you. Like we ain't chatting no more. Like now I know you're a piece of shit. Like you're down to microwave fish at work. Okay, I know the type of person you are now. You're a piece of shit.
You're a line stepper.
You crossed the line. But nah, if there's a person that I think is racist, there's no fucking way that I could be cool with them. Or even like truly like homophobic. I'm sorry, not homophobic, because the word has people take issue with the word. If I got the feeling that you hate gay people, I'm not fucking with you. Like you good. You go live your life. I'm not bothering with that. I think where we find a lot of issue amongst, with one another is we don't all agree on what makes somebody like somebody who hates gay people or someone who's a racist. Like we don't agree on that. So then that's where I think it gets hairy, where I might look at a friend that like, so and so has, and I'm like, how the fuck you could be friends with that racist? And he might be like, well, he ain't a racist, and I'm like, well, clearly, blah, you know what I mean? And
that's where I find myself, because I have known white dudes that use the N word with the A at the end, but I don't think a white person should use that fucking word in general. Like, I don't think it matters whether you're doing the A, the hard ER at the end. It doesn't matter. The N word is not your word to use. I don't think you should use it. But to what extent does it make a white dude racist if they're using that? Like, it almost goes back into our like cultural appropriation conversation. Like, if it's a white dude that grew up in the ghetto and they hung out with a bunch of like black and brown dudes that gave them the cosign their entire fucking life.
Yeah, I don't think you could tell that person that. Yeah, but I think you're right. That you're correct. If you're raised in circumstances where you were allowed to say those words and people gave you the pass, I think you have more of, I guess, a pass to like say it. But I think if somebody is going to check you on it and be like, hey, let's not use that word, I think you have less of a reason to fight back against it. I just think.
But I would operate in the assumption that people have checked you. Like, you've been checked, whether you got the pass from your black and brown friends back in high school. You're 30 something years old at this point. You've been checked. Someone's been like, what's up with you using that word, dude? you're the same color as the moon up in the sky right now. What's going on with you using that word? So I would assume people have been checked. I don't know, man. It's
almost everybody's been checked. Like, I've been in places where it's just black people, and amongst us where people would whip out like I've had friends that are just like, yo, I don't like nobody saying this word around me. Like, I just don't want to hear it. It don't matter if you're white or black or whatever the fuck. I don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, like that's a back then I was like, this is radical. Like, this is fucking crazy. This is how we talk. What are you talking about? And I don't know. As I've gotten older, I've been more sympathetic to the idea that, I don't know. I feel like there's some words you probably shouldn't say no more. Like they don't add. There's not a lot of value to use, in my opinion.
That's where I'm at with it. I mean, y'all know me. That's never been my word since y'all have known me. I've mentioned this before. I was an edgy, douchey teenager once upon a time, and I definitely said some words to just evoke, reactions from people because I was a douchebag. But that's not the man I want to be anymore. That's not the person that I am now. That's not how I want to represent myself. And I just wish that more people that I meet down here in Texas had grown out of that edgy stage, had grown out of just wanting that attention by being like, oh, I'm a white dude that says the N-word. Look at me, I'm so edgy.
Arrested development is a real thing.
Because how do you differentiate someone that's saying a word ironically from someone that is an actual legit racist? Like, how do you make that distinction? What is that distinction?
I would say the inflections and the way that they're using it and stuff like that. Yeah, like that. Like, it'd have to be in how they're saying it and what type of situation they're using to describe or whatever.
I feel like people should have more respect too. Like,
for sure.
If Mateo was like, yo, let's go hang out with my friends, we're going to some place, I'm going to read the room before I'm going to engage in how I'm going to be around these people. Like, and I find that sometimes when I bring some people around, I got to like preemptively, I'm like, all right, we're going to be around some not ghetto people, so check your ghetto. Like, we need to talk a little different around these people because they'll start looking at us crazy if we start talking the way we normally talk, right? Like, I got to have that conversations with people sometimes. And it's like, I kind of wish that people operated under the assumption of like, you know, like when people's mamas is around and everybody gets real correct, they don't want to curse, and they're talking real clean and all that. That's how people should be when they're around new people. They should just kind of respect the environment and read their friends, see the energy their friend is bringing, and go, okay, cool, I could match this, or okay, he's being himself, maybe I could be myself, or you know what I'm saying? Too many people want to be gung-ho, be around brand new people, and then just come out of pocket with some shit, and then it's like, all right, I don't know. And then the flip side too.
What would you tell people who can't code switch? Who can't
fucking learn? You're gonna fail at life if you can't code switch. If you grew up in the ghetto and you, like myself, and you got no way to turn the ghetto off, yo, good luck. That you're gonna run into some problems in life, and probably the only way you're gonna be able to handle these things is to be combative. Then, like if somebody tries to check you, it's because I guess you can't not say it. You're just gonna have to be aggressive about this. I'm gonna talk the way I talk, or I'm gonna piece the fuck out. Like those are your two options now. I don't know. I would say learn. Like I don't know. Like feels like a survival skill at this point, where it's just like, I don't know, like you never had to like not curse around your moms. Like, come on, we all learn how to code switch real young. Like
that's absolutely true. Everyone knows some form of code switching. You absolutely do. You don't talk around your parents and your grandparents the same way you talk around your friends. And if you do, you're a little bit weird. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but you're a little weird. To give y'all a real life situation from
sorry, just to sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm cutting you off intentionally. Not to say weird, because again, people take a lot of offense with the very specific words they use. I would say that it's not common.
Yeah.
Most people in the world do not talk with their moms or with their mothers around the exact way that they talk when they're just friends. Like, you know what I mean? There's a difference. Even if it's small, there's certain words. Even me, there's certain words I don't want to say. And from a young age, my mother's been really open verbally with us that as I've gotten older, my mom is like a friend. Like we just chat. But there's still some words I'm not saying in front of my mom's because I'm like, she might get offended. You know what I'm saying? I need to be careful. Like,
dude, absolutely the same. My dad is, I have a fantastic relationship with my dad and my mom, right? And my dad's a truck driver. The man can swear. So I'll swear around my dad all day, but there are certain ways of putting words together and sentences together that just doesn't happen with my dad. It doesn't feel right. It's not the way that I talk to my parents. But to give y'all a real life situation that I have run into here in Texas, I'm not going to give any specifics, but like I have met people from work before that I was like, oh, okay, this guy's pretty cool. We've gone and hung out outside. We chatted. We smoked cigarettes back when I was a cigarette smoker. We'd, have our smoke break conversations. And I was like, this guy is pretty cool, right? Invited, go over to play video games and drink beers or whatever. And you get over and you see the big old Confederate flag hanging behind the TV. And they make, with a situation like that, where it's like, okay, this person, they have signs that they might be a racist, but maybe it's just maybe they just have some misconceptions from their youth, right? Maybe they're, a lot of racism is usually an inherited thing. You learn it from your parents, who learn it from their parents, who learn it from their parents, and so on and so forth, right? It's you're not really born racist. You're taught racism. That's the way that it tends to work. You look at little kids playing together; they don't give a fuck about what color the other kid is. Little kids just want to play together. With a situation like that, should you become friends with that person or build any kind of bond with that person to try to help them better themselves and get away from this hateful rhetoric that they have had pushed into their lives, even if it hasn't made them a full-on racist necessarily, but they have those tendencies? Is there some kind of obligation that we have as members of society or people that want to make the world a better place to try to fix that?
I think yes. I think, yeah, if you have a chance at doing that, at allowing someone to view a perspective because a lot of the times these people are closed off to other people's opinions that are very different from theirs. So obviously they're obvious is they're gonna close off against those people. But if you've made it past those gates where they closed off and you could kind of reason with them and talk to them, I think the conversation needs to happen. Especially living here in America and what's happening to America where we're just this big melting pot of people. Yeah, I don't think there's room for that type of racism really anymore.
Yeah, there's some discourse on Twitter that I've seen about this. I've seen it with Nazis, I've seen it with skinheads, I've seen it with racists and whatnot. I'm pretty left leaning, you know that. I'm not all the way left, but I'm pretty left leaning. I'm pretty hard left. But I don't agree with a lot of the purity tests that exist in leftist culture. There's a lot of rhetoric that you can't, Nazis need to be killed. Racist people need to be just executed and extreme shit like that. And I think that's so crazy. I think that we have an obligation to try to make the world better. I think we have an obligation to
there's a word for it, virtue signaling or some shit like that.
There's some aspects of it that could fall into that. I think a lot of it is just a lot of naivety. It's a lot of not understanding that you can't. I don't know. I don't want to be part of a society that builds itself off of bodies. That's the complaint about the U.S., right? The U.S. has taken over property from the Native Americans and brown people and black people, and this entire empire is built on dead bodies in the backs of all these people that were taken advantage of. And you want to fix that by building another society on the backs of the execution and the deaths of people. It doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm idealistic. Maybe I'm the naive one, but I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think you can rehab people. We've talked about this in our rehabilitation episode. I think that you can save most people.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's levels to it. Well, not the fucking killing Nazis. I'm not interested in that. But like the whole you've made a friend, and let's say you guys are really good fucking friends, and then you find out that he be having the Confederate flag and shit like that. At that point, I'd probably be like, is this a person that I'm actually like close to, or like I want to be close to? Like I like this person. If I do, then I'll probably continue to pursue that relationship and try to inform or share information or whatever the fuck that I think might help them realize that, you know, some aspects of their life are controversial and viewed, you know, very poorly by society. The obligation thing, though, it makes me feel weird because it's almost like there's a group of people that are being like, I don't know, oppressed, for lack of a better word, by certain ideologies and symbols and things like that. And then it feels like people are saying those people that are being oppressed have the obligation to go and educate the people that are better off, that should have the means to educate themselves, you know, with the internet and oftentimes they're better education and all of that, and they just don't, or they haven't, or whatever. I don't know, something about that rubs me the wrong way, but
I definitely agree. It's fucked up that the oppressed have to be the ones to free their oppressors from like this hateful rhetoric, right? Like it doesn't make sense. It's not the way it should be. And I don't know how to write that. I don't know how to fix that. But I can tell you that not trying to help people, not trying to fix people, it does not make the problem any better. We're not going to get rid of Nazis in America by not like, I don't know. The solution to Nazis in America is not to kill every Nazi in America. I think it just makes more Nazis. I think that's all that shit like that does. It just further fractures people. But I don't know what the alternative would be. There's that guy the guy that comes to mind is that Daryl guy. We were talking about him before the podcast. He's befriended like something like 200 KKK members and convinced them to turn in their robes. And I don't think that I can feel right in saying that we all have an obligation to do this. I'm not saying that we all have to go out and become best friends with a KKK member and try to go on this course. But I don't think that hate defeats hate. I think that just living your best life and trying to show people that their ways are ignorant, that their ways are rooted in bad parenting and generational idiocy is a better way to go about it. But I don't know what the methods are. I have no idea what the methods are to actually turn someone from that path. I have not had any success in my life. The most success I've had is convincing some white friends that, like, hey man, you shouldn't say the N-word. It's not your word. You shouldn't say that. That's the most success I've had in my life. So I'm not any kind of expert here at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it just happens through conversation and being around other people. Like, I mean, I've learned a lot by the friends that I have and the conversations that we have, that I've kind of tweaked some of my beliefs because I feel like my beliefs were wrong before, or, you know, things like that. So, I mean, I think it's through conversation. And we've seen that, like, you know, all within each other, the usually four of us on the pod, we've all had conversations where we disagree on things, and then later we reflect on those conversations. You go, you know what? Some of that stuff, even though in the moment I fought against it, you know, thinking about it, like, you know, there's some ideas there that I think are right, and maybe I need to rethink some of my views. So I don't know. I think having certain conversations like that, I think it depends on the tone. Like, if you go, hey, you know, you're a real piece of shit for flying that flag, right? Like, you ain't never going to convince nobody like that. So I think it's how you come at somebody. Same way that if you want to check somebody who's, you know, saying words or whatever, and you don't think they should be allowed to say it, like, the way that you check them could be all the difference, right? If you're like, yo, if you're just like, yo, no, I'm not, you know, trying to disrespect that, but just, you know, just try not to say the N-word around me. I'd appreciate it. I feel like most people would be receptive to that. But if you go at somebody telling and demanding them not to do something, I feel like naturally people are combative. Well, most people are nice, but I think there's plenty of combative people that are gonna be like, nah, like, you tripping, like, fuck you. And then it's a problem. Then it's all right, how prideful are you? Now are you gonna fight for this? Or maybe you pissed the other guy off so much that he's gonna, and it's like, all right, this is all fucked up already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. People dig in more depending on how you'd come at them. Like, there's a psychological phenomenon about this, about like, when you question people's beliefs, it makes them dig into that belief even more. Even if they have no evidence to back up their reason for feeling that way, it just makes them dig in more. It's just not a super effective strategy. What about you, Doe? Do you think we have an obligation to be the change in the world? You think that what are your thoughts here?
Some people are mentally equipped to talk someone out of their racism, but I don't think just because you can't talk someone out of your racism, you can't make an impact in someone's life to make them actually question the ways that they were taught. So I would say, if you are the type of person where you want to avoid conflict, then that's fine. Like, you don't have to change everyone that comes around you. But I think what would be nice is if you yourself would be impactful enough to help that person realize, you know what I mean? That person would realize through you and your friendship that maybe there's something else to this whole thing. For lack of better words, I don't really have the right answer because I think it's very complex.
Dude,
I think
if we had the right answer, we would be doing way greater things than our little tiny podcast here, because this is the question that's plagued America for 100 years, a couple hundred
there's
years
so
since,
many
since its creation.
We'd write a book about it and then do a book tour. We tell people that the answer to everything is inside this book. If only you'd buy my book for $14.99.
3 installments at $14.99.
Oh,
3
shit, we're on the
installments
infomercial.
of $299
and 99 cents.
But wait,
the secret to
if
life.
you call in the next 10 minutes, you could get it for $11.99.
You get 2 of them.
Oh, we'll toss in this wonderful fish tank to go, and you're like, what the fuck? Why do I want this random fucking item?
And a ShamWow.
Damn. I got a couple of those things. Those things work.
Do they really?
Yeah, they're good. They soak up a lot of liquid. They feel weird. It feels like they suck the liquid out of your hands. It's really weird. Like when you use it, there's like a feeling of like dryness in your hand. So like
You got to O'Keefe's up afterwards then.
you got to O'Keefe's up. Like ShamWow to O'Keefe's. It's a good combo.
Somewhere here is a commercial for O'Keefe's. We just haven't realized it yet. But listen, hold up.
Working hands for a working man.
Oh, he's going to get his O'Keefe stuff. Oh, he's got the big one.
Oh, oops.
Got the big boy one.
The cream. Hey, I got the fucking this
Ooh,
A1.
chunky.
Look at that.
I'm still not on this O'Keefe strain. I need to check this shit out.
It's good.
Chunky. They talked to me the other day because I got their so basically they made antibacterial soap, but they also put their cream in the soap. So it like washes and you have lotion at the same time. It's weird.
Y'all, this is not an ad. We're not sponsored by O'Keefe's or anything.
We're gonna be sponsored by O'Keefe's, okay? I'm just putting it into existence.
I mean, as soon as we get the Twitter handle of our mailman, O'Keefe's will fucking accept their sponsor.
Oh yeah, I don't know what kind of monster is. They said if you like O'Keefe's working hands, tag your favorite mailman. I said, who has their mailman's fucking Twitter? What's going on here?
It's fucking absurd.
So, to sum everything up, racism's complicated, and we don't know whether you should or shouldn't try to fix people. But I think that if you feel that you are equipped to do so, I don't think that I think that you should try. I think that we should always try to make the world a better place. And in my mind, a better place is a world where we can all just get along a little bit better and we can recognize each other. And my better world that I want to see does not involve, hate and killing and things of that nature. But it's complicated. It's very complicated. And I don't know if we have an obligation to do that because it's a lot of work. And as Buchel said, I don't know that it should be the work of the oppressed to free their oppressors from hateful rhetoric. But we do have a more fun topic for you. If you stick around to this point, we promise it's a little bit more lighthearted. We thought that it would be interesting. There's a lot of backlash about white actors playing black characters or playing people of other races. We had this thing a few months back in our little video game chat on PS5 where we realized a beloved movie from our childhood, Short Circuit, that one of our favorite characters from there was this Indian man, was played by a white dude in brown face, and it blew our minds.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be fun to do a reverse of that. we want to talk about. We're just gonna like think of some. We've got some characters that we think that they might actually be better served if they were played by a minority. Minor specifically, like I think they would be improved by being played by being a black character rather than a white character. But we'll just open it up to any white character that you think would be better served being played by a minority. And we can start off with Booch, unless Doughy actually has one ready once he realizes that he's muted.
Can I say one?
Yes.
That's not fiction.
Yeah, go for it.
Imagine a black Donald Trump.
I mean, sad.
Terrible. Would he still have the blonde hair? Would he still like have the blonde hair? He'd have some kind of like spray tan going on.
Or it'd be like the Negotiator when they dyed Samuel L. Jackson's hair like bronze. It was terrible. It'd be something like that.
I
It's a good movie.
don't remember that.
It is a good movie. How did we not know that this guy wasn't gay? He's obviously gay from like, what's this guy's name? The Negotiator?
Who are we talking about?
The guy that has sex with young teenagers?
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin
I forgot he was in that
Oh,
movie.
yeah, he's a creeper, man.
He's gay, but
Wait,
he was gay from a long time ago. He's a sassy man. He's sassy.
He's
I think
also
he's always been sassy.
he's also allegedly a sex criminal. Like,
Yeah.
Sadly. He's one of my favorite actors, and I love a lot of his movies.
is he really? I'm trying to think of a movie of his that I really enjoy, and I cannot come up with one.
American Beauty.
And American Beauty, though,
K-Pax.
dude, American Beauty is so hard to watch now, especially knowing that like he preys on young. Yeah,
I mean,
like,
he preys on a young girl in the movie.
yeah.
Really, she preys on him, but there's a weird power dynamic there.
Yeah.
And it's a good movie. But
It's
he's a creepy dude who shows restraint, okay, and denies this girl coming on to him. Okay, he shuts it down, and he's like,
I guess
maybe
he
when you're a
does
little
shut
older.
it down at the end
He's
of the
like,
movie.
maybe when you're a little older. You know, he kisses on her a little bit. He goes, you know what, this ain't right. Maybe when you're a little older.
He
you know?
definitely goes too far, though.
He
Like,
goes too far for sure.
okay,
But I mean, he had the opportunity to go all the way, and he showed restraint.
okay.
Can I
Pooch,
just spitball another one real quick?
Get us out of Kevin Spacey. Someone take us away from Kevin Spacey.
Can I spitball one? Just another one? I would love to see a black Sherlock Holmes. Like a detective, but of like a caliber of like thinking of way of people don't think and stuff like that.
What was that? Wasn't there kind of like that equivalent? It's obviously it's not like Sherlock Holmes, but what's his name? Idris Elba. What was that detective show that he did that was a British detective show? I always got like Sherlock Holmes vibes from that, but I only saw like 2 episodes, so like maybe it's not a straight
I'm
comparison.
not too sure.
I know what you're talking about. I completely forgot the name. It's like one name.
Yeah, it's just like his character's name, right? But I don't remember. Okay, Pooch, who do you have? I know you've got at least one.
So it's kind of a given, and it's happened. But I think it's a shame. You're going to create a character, Captain America. How's he going to be a white man?
Exactly.
Honestly, he could be black, and that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole gang of shit, storylines and all that stuff that, you could play off of. Granted, you'd have to change some stuff because there's no way in hell that like the United States in the 1940s is going to pick a black man to be the super soldier, the face of the military, right?
Well,
there's no way that's going to happen.
Well, the way you would change it would be like what they did in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier thing, where like they found the black Captain America, like the original black super soldier. And he was like, they tested that shit on us after Captain America got frozen because they were trying to create a super soldier and they wanted to use us as test subjects. Like it would be some kind of backdrop like that, just given, the racial tones of the country in that time period.
Right. So I think a black person or even a Native American.
Oh, that'd be
Captain America. That'd be really cool.
That'd be rad. I didn't even think about that. That would be badass.
Yeah. And then again with the Native American, there's a lot of interesting ways that character could go.
I like that. I think that would. I think that would. I think that would actually add a lot to the character. And Captain America is my favorite character, as you know. But yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. Do you have?
I don't know. People get really upset about this stuff. Like, I was reading some threads today about people that are just so fucking mad that these writers don't just create great superheroes that are black or Hispanic or Native, whatever, right? Instead of just taking a white one and making them black or whatever. But it's like a lot of times they don't realize that all the good superheroes are white, unfortunately. Like, there's some exceptions, like Storm, Black Panther, you know.
We're claiming we're claiming Moon Knight. We're claiming that live action Moon Knight.
There ain't a lot, all right? And it's not because someone decided intentionally to write them poorly. It's that oftentimes these characters are created, they're not quite loved by the people that consumed comic books. So then the writers just didn't write as many stories about these characters, so they're not as fleshed out and all these, and they're just not beloved by the people. And it's not because it's a bad character. Oftentimes it's just they're just not popular because in life, I just feel like we've hit the cap. Like, we've got our list of superheroes. Like, we ain't adding much.
Well, also, like, I grew up fairly poor. Trying to talk my parents into spending like $350 on a comic book was way harder than you would think that it should have been. Like the white people tend to be a little bit more well off in this country, so they're the ones that are consuming the media. So they're the ones that they want to buy, much like us. They want to read about characters that are them. They want to read about a character they can relate to, and it's easier to relate to someone that's your skin color. That I think that's also a driving force in this. Like, a lot of these comics with, you know, minority characters, they had lower sales and volume. Like, they moved less numbers, and not to mention a lot of those characters were written back in like a time of even more increased racism than nowadays. So those minority characters were written as the bad guy or the one-off joke superhero or something, right? Like, they weren't really fleshed out to the same level. What about you, Doughy? You got one that's not Donald Trump?
But like, for me, it's a toss up because imagine if we had a black Indiana Jones. I think that would be cool. I think, like, you could just pick and take your favorite. Look at what Finn did to Star Wars. Unfortunately, they did not use him to what I think would be appropriate.
Disney dropped the ball.
He should have been a shared Jedi with Rey. I think that would have been cool.
Yes. Yeah, I just feel like there's so many chances that you could insert a person of color and it just make it pretty much everybody else is going to be white in the movie, right? From what we know. So, like, you might as well make somebody prominent, you know what I mean? Beside Scarlett Johansson.
So, Pooch, I've got one, but I don't feel super great about it because the one that I would recast is a supervillain. I don't know that, like, I'm a big fan of recasting like a white villain as a black villain, right? But I think that it would actually add a lot to it. I think Lex Luthor should be a black man.
Ooh, that would be good.
I think it makes sense because, like, Lex Luthor's thing has always been his ego, right? Like, he's jealous of Superman. But let's say you twist that into he's angry at Superman because here's this man from another planet. He's an alien. He's not a human. And he comes down, but because he happens to look like a white man and he has all these powers, the people love him. But here's Lex Luthor, and he's Lex Luthor. That's a different guy.
What was that move called? He'll put you on his shoulders and he'll just fucking destroy you.
I don't remember.
Lex.
Dude,
Lex
you just
wins.
need one comment.
Was it
to
the
put me
lion?
into
The lion
WWF.
tamer?
Dude, it was bad. That shit's like a fucking. He'll give you a slip disc with that shit.
but here's Lex Luthor. Like he's bringing technology to the people. He's bringing power to the people. He's making all these amazing technological innovations, and the people still don't fucking love him as much as Superman because Superman's a white man that is in the media, and like I think it would add a level of complexity to Lex Luthor that is not quite there, because I don't know that I really believe that his ego is the main driving force behind Lex Luthor and all these stories. I think it gets a little ridiculous sometimes that the smartest man in the world is this petty, basically. But I don't feel great about like replacing a white villain with a black villain, because there's enough minority villains.
I feel like villains are the best characters. Right? They tend to have sometimes, yeah. They're the most realistic. Like they have motivations that are more human than the regular character that happens to be in a comic book. So I don't know. I've always found, and again, maybe it's just me being a ghetto bastard. Like we root for Scarface, you know what I mean? He's the bad guy of the movie and shit like that, where we just kind of root for the villains and shit. Like, I don't know. Like when I was watching Black Panther, I couldn't help but like empathize with Killmonger. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're not doing this the way that I would do it, but like I hear everything you're saying. Like it's hard to disagree. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I love Lex Luthor as a character, especially in some comics. He's really fucking cool. Yeah, you're not wrong either. It's kind of crazy to think that the smartest man in the world has. Like he just can't get past this mental block with this one person.
Yep.
I mean, in the old comics, man, this Superman blew his hair right off, and he's been bald ever since. So he's pissed.
I was reading his golden age or whatever the fuck age, like origin story. I was like, that's batshit insane. And they're like, but this is the post-crisis one, and this is the one that more people have been adapting. I was like, okay, that one makes way more sense.
He's like mixing some test tube shits up. And he's like, woo, and then he fucking makes a chemical fire, and Superman busts into the lab, and he's all like and blows the flames out. But the blow was so powerful, it ripped all of Lex Luthor's hair follicles off in such a way that it'll never grow back. So I don't even know if he has eyebrows in that era of comic book. Like it was bad. I don't know. I hate Superman too.
Yeah, Superman is the very boring character. Superman's the other one I was thinking, but they have done Black Superman. When he died, I think there was Steel or whatever that took over. They've kind of attempted that.
Yeah, it's more like not quite a Black Superman, but was it John Steel? Is the guy's name?
I think it's something like that.
It's the Man of Steel, even though that was a name. Or no. Actually, it was just Steel. Actually, was his name. Yeah, and he's like in the all metal suit or something. I don't know. But yeah, but he was ripped, and he rocked the sledgehammer too for a little bit.
Yeah, like John Henry.
Yeah, maybe his name might be John Henry.
Was
Irons.
His name actually John Henry?
Wait,
Irons?
hold on. Maybe I'm mixing these two characters.
just so the audience knows, we do love comic books, but we're not 100% comic book experts, and there's 5 million out there. So if we get some shit wrong, just like let us know in the comments. But like, don't be too upset at us, because who even knows which storyline is the one that matters in these comic books?
Be plenty upset with us, okay? Hate me. I'll fucking. It gives me all right. Okay, another one that's not at all an answer to your question, but I feel like it's in the spirit in a sense. I would say Wolverine, in no way, shape, or form could that man be Canadian. He's too fucking angry. He's an American through and through. Through and fucking through. Like,
he
ain't from Canada.
No shit. Wolverine was my actual, like, my answer that I felt good about, because here's what I think they could do with Wolverine as a black man. Okay. Obviously Wolverine's a Canadian.
But he's a black American now.
Yeah, well, he's a Canadian. He's a Canadian superhero, right? So like, there's not the same like level of like I actually don't know. I don't know if there's the same level of like racial disparity and whatnot. But Wolverine didn't really find his home.
With Native Americans, hell yeah. But I don't know about with black people.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But Wolverine didn't really find his home until he went and joined the X-Men, right? And they're an American superhero team. And before then, he was experimented on with the government, which is something that has happened historically in the U.S. to black men. He's from like the 1600s or 1700s or something, right? Like he's old as hell. So you could have used Wolverine through these old stories of him going through his slowly aging body and dealing with like the Civil War and like the slavery. And there's so many interesting stories they could tell if Wolverine was a black man that was actually experiencing all these moments in history.
You know, that's cool because the Wolverine Origins movie that came out, I think, it jacked. One of my lifelong dreams was I want Wolverine to be Abraham Lincoln, right? and so I was like, all right, cool. He's old enough to be Abraham Lincoln and to be the president of the United States. He gets shot in the head, but clearly doesn't kill Wolverine. So he comes back to life. He's like, all right, fuck it, I ain't gonna be president no more. But at that point, he's trying to change the country. So all this stuff, basically. And then he lives through all the eras. He fights in all the wars. But I could just remove the Abraham Lincoln plot line in my, like...
Your headcanon?
The fictional... yeah, my headcanon of my Wolverine character. And make him a black man. And then him fighting and... let's just say being like a slave... being a slave. And then fighting for his freedom in the Civil War. And all that stuff. It'd be pretty cool.
Dude, that's
Who
where
knows? He could go through a whole story arc where he was... maybe he's been fighting for freedom for so long and just not able to like live a good life. And then maybe for a while he's just like accepted his fate of like, you know what? I could kill all these people and all this stuff and get out of captivity and all that, but it ain't gonna change anything. So maybe he just becomes like what's the word? Like accepting of a poor situation for a while until he's like, nah, fuck it. I don't know. There could be a lot of cool stuff there, all right?
Absolutely.
You might convince me. I was just going for the whole Canadian American thing, but I like the fact that he's not Canadian. Now he's a black American. Mm-hmm. And this is good. And then this will piss the people off.
Dude, and that's where he gets his nickname from, fighting the Civil War, because he just is fucking up these Confederate soldiers at night and just slaughtering them. They're just ripped apart, right, with his claws. So they're like, oh, the Wolverine got into camp, and that's where his name comes from. I think there's so many cool things they could do with a black Wolverine. I think that'd be real badass.
I could dig this.
What else y'all got?
I have one more that's not very well thought out, really, but because I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and because so many of the characters, mind you, there's a lot of people of color in the game, but there's a lot of white people. And not that there's anything wrong with a lot of white people. It just feels so weird that there's such a very strong, like Native American culture that's going on in those games. It feels weird, all these white people. It's like, yo, like, how about Aloy should have just been like a Native American? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I don't think she should have been like a redheaded white. Like, they made sure there's no mistaking this is a white woman. Like, she got red hair. Like,
played by Ashley Birch, I think, right?
Yeah, she did a good job.
Yeah, I heard she did amazing.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Also, gotten shit for doing a black accent.
Oh yeah, with Tiny Tina. Thing. That is fair. I don't know. I don't know if it's fair, but it's a fair point to bring up that I don't know if it was fair that she got shit for that, because she'd been doing that for years and years and years.
I don't think it's fair personally, because I just think of who Tiny Tina is as a character, and I think like she went all in creating this character. I think she does it. I think it's one of the best characters that Borderlands has.
I think it's done with a lot of love, and I would disagree. The best character the Borderlands did was Scooter. Catch a ride, bud.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't remember Scooter? He's the one that gives you all the cars. He sacrificed himself in one of the Borderlands games. That's why he's not in the third one.
He's the kid of the big fat chick in Borderlands 3, right?
No, he's her brother.
Brother, okay.
And he also wants to have sex with her. Borderlands is weird. It's weird series.
Yeah, so that I don't.
So you think Aloy should be black, or you just think there should be more just people of color in general. And
I wish there was like a black Tomb Raider with like big nalgas, like big booty action.
Just like but it would have been like on the PlayStation 1 era, so it would have been like just blocky, pointy
booty.
polygons on the back.
Doughy wants them triangle titties.
Yo, I need them.
But yeah, the whole
How
Ashley
come no
Birch
dead or
thing-
alive characters are black?
Yeah, the Japanese people are really weird when it comes to dark skinned people. They love them some white girls. That's why in a lot of games you get fully Japanese characters that'll have white names. They'll be blonde. And it's like, ain't no Japanese people blonde. And I say white names, sorry, like American names or English names. And it's like the chick Anne in Persona. I think they might have said that she modeled in like England or something, but I think she's Japanese. Like, you know what I'm saying?
She's half Japanese, half white.
They just wanted to put somebody who was blonde in the game. Look at Ryuji. He's blonde for no reason.
No reason.
They love them some white people in Japan.
I don't think I can actually say any of their names because I have seen maybe 2 episodes ever in my life. And I don't actually care which one of them is black in this suggestion that I'm about to give. One of those characters in Friends could have been black, though. I don't care which one. We were talking about this before the podcast, and I told y'all I had numbers, and I do. Let me pull those numbers up. Y'all know that there were 236 episodes of Friends. I Googled this, so it's obviously right because that's what Google tells me. 236 characters. I found a BuzzFeed list of every black character that ever appeared in Friends. There are 27 over the span of 236 episodes, and a lot of them on this list don't have names.
27 appearances or 27 characters?
27 appearances.
Wow.
Most of these are not recurring characters. Most of these don't even have names. This guy is called Mattress King Delivery Guy. This one is just called the Casting Director, Security Guard. Like, that show could have used some color.
It's crazy. There was a big time period where everybody was white on TV and shit. And then out of nowhere, there was this explosion of black characters on black TV. You know, you got like fucking was it the Jamie Foxx show? I'm just fucking.
I think it might have been Jamie. I don't.
But yeah, the Jamie Foxx show.
Jamie
You got
Foxx
like
show.
Moesha. You got like even like for little kids, you got like Sister. You got Smart Guy.
WB, shout out to WB, that stupid dancing frog. It's kind of a racist.
The WB.
but like the WB had it locked down.
They had a lot of color in their shows, honestly.
Yeah.
There's
And the Cosby Show, for all his shittiness, the Cosby Show is amazing.
It was good.
Like,
Yeah.
It was cool to have a bunch of black characters on TV that never really spoke about their blackness necessarily, which maybe they should have or something like that, but they just never really discussed it. They would just happen to be a black family and they were normal. Like, they were not like hoodlums. They weren't drug they were just a normal family, like most black families in America. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, when I say like, these people were very well off. So I don't know if that's like most black families. I'm saying they were normal like most black families. Like, they ate dinner, they went to work, they went to school, and they lived a life like
they had the same struggles that everyone else had. Like, it was,
right. And it's just shitty that oftentimes the depiction on TV is a lot of like negativity. And I think the Cosby Show did a cool thing of you know, normal shit on TV.
I mean, that's the whole spirit of this conversation, right? Is that that's the reason we're doing this thought experiment, basically, is because it would be nice to see some characters of color that aren't just the bad guy. They're not just the caricature of what you think a ghetto person is, or what you think a drug dealer looks like, or it would be nice to see some extra influences. That's why we think it would be interesting to explore some of these characters as a minority. It would be nice to see. You have any other characters that come to mind, Doughy? I see you thinking over there. No, we kind of caught you off guard a little bit.
I was thinking of porn stars,
You,
but the only
That's
thing
another
I could,
problem. No, seriously, that's another problem. Is there's not really any black porn stars like that. Or
Lexington Steele?
no, like women. Like men don't like the consumers of content on the internet tend to be mostly white, and they tend to gravitate towards white people.
That's interesting. I've never
So you just
looked
see
into that.
look at all the titty streamers on Twitch. They're all white. And look at the ASMR people. There's a couple Asian people, but they're pretty much all white. And
That's
then,
interesting.
Yeah, I can't even think of a single the only Mia Khalifa is the only person of color that's a porn star that I could even think of.
And you're talking about of like that high, like known caliber, like
yeah. No, of course there are.
yeah.
Black
I'm clarifying for the audience.
I think if you go to Pornhub and scroll through like they have like all the ranks, like the top porn stars and shit. I don't think you're gonna see black people, like black women on the list.
Yeah, just clarifying for that guy in the comments that it was about to jump in there and be like, I'm gonna do a Google search and list every black porn star I find. That's not what we're saying, dude. Calm down, bud.
I want an Asian Lexington Steele. Where are y'all
Yeah,
at?
subvert expectations. All right?
Yo,
There's a lot of stereotypes about the sizes of Asian men. Okay.
Yo, if
And I'm
you're
sure there's
an
plenty
Asian man
girthy men.
with a thick, girthy dick, send it to our email. We'll make sure we shout you out.
Not the
We'll
dick,
give you
just
that
the name. You know.
thick, girthy cosign.
Just, I don't approve. Just send it to Doughy. You know what? Just send that shit directly to Doughy. He's got his DMs open.
DMs are open.
Just to be clear, these are solicited dick pics straight to Doughy. Okay,
Yeah.
he's asking for them.
Vaginas,
All you girthy
cocks.
Asian men out there,
I'll
send
rate
them his
it. I'll
way.
give it a 1 through 10. I'll give you a nice little what I like about it, what I don't like about it. It's a little too hairy. You gotta shave.
This.
So you're gonna critique the cock.
Oh my God! This is the start of Doughy's OnlyFans. Is what's happening right here. Yeah, I think I got to get us out of here. I think it's time. I think it's time for us to go. We spent a little bit too much time together. Hey y'all, we appreciate you sticking around this long. If you made it this far, we'll see how this video does. We think that we covered a lot here. I'm really dreading making these thumbnails this week, but we'll make something happen. We'll figure out some magic. We think that race in America is a complicated thing. We think that it's good to think about. I don't agree with people that think that the way to fix issues is not to talk about them and to pretend they didn't happen. You know me. I think that communication is the best way to fix any issue, racism included. We hope you've enjoyed if you've stayed this far. We hope you've enjoyed our content. We're trying to. We just want to build a community. We just want to build a community of love and acceptance, and we want the ability to share ideas with each other and debate these ideas in a safe and positive way without it just turning into a screaming match. That's what we try to put out there. That's the positive and positivity and vibes that we're trying to put out, is that kind of community. We're another 3-man tonight, as you can see. We're definitely missing our Tony, but we're going to keep bringing you content as long as we can. So,
I miss his girthy personality.
Everything doesn't have girth. Everything's not a shaft.
You can tell that him and Zeus have been hanging out a lot, because Zeus dropped the girth word about 20 times on that PlayStation chat earlier. But
some would say he has a girthy personality now.
we are Tony, Doughy, Buchel, and me, Mateo. And this is the One Up Podcast. And we love every single one of you. And go one up yourself. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Later, guys.